The MELDapp Ignition event just wrapped up earlier today, where we saw the first glimpse of the mobile application. We also heard from Ken, Mahul, and Yusuf Sarandi, who are all MELD members. And as a part of today's video, not only do I want to touch on the Ignition event, but I also want to touch on all the items that were addressed as a part of their Q&A following this exciting update. What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and as a part of today's video, I want to break down the MELD Ignition event that just took place about 12 hours ago, led by the MELD team, in which we heard from Ken Oling, their founder, Mahul Odedra, their product manager, and Yusuf Sarandi, and a few other members from the MELD official team. Now, MELD is a protocol that I do cover here quite frequently on the channel, so I'm not going to dive into everything that they're providing, but simply put, or in a nutshell, they're going to be a lending and borrowing protocol going multi-chain with support on Cardano, Avalanche, and their own MELD L1. Now, to date, we've seen the launch of the MELD L1 as a subnet on Avalanche, and we've also seen the launch of the MELDapp, which is going to be their dedicated wallet. Now, the MELDapp initially launched through a web version or through a web browser. And as a part of the Ignition event, they were going to be raising awareness surrounding the first cohort getting access to test the mobile version of their MELDapp. So as a part of today's video, I want to quickly talk about the agenda, and then I want to talk about some of the key questions and inputs that I saw coming out from the MELD team. As always, if you guys enjoy these types of updates, as I am on the go, as you guys can see, I would appreciate it if you guys could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this surrounding the Cardano ecosystem, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding MELD or what they're building, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Now, jumping into the actual MELD Ignition event, the event lasted a total of about 20 minutes, and we had a pretty cool introduction and a warm welcome from Ken Oling, again, their founder. Now, Ken talked about the process that has led up until now and the fact that the team has iterated over many versions of the MELD mobile application, and they're now finally settling on a version that they will be able to share with the iOS community while they're continuing to work and develop an Android version for that particular community. Now, one key thing that I did notice that stuck out during Ken's presentation was the fact that he mentioned that now that they've already built out the web version and now that they're focusing on the mobile version, that they'll be aiming to get additional interfaces for MELD to be accessible through. Now, he didn't actually go into more detail when I asked him about that, but it is interesting to see that the MELD team is working to see how else they could provide their app to users, again, not just solely through the web interface and through their mobile platform. Now, after Ken's intro, we did get a brief demo which basically showed us two different journeys or two different process workflows. One was the act of creating a brand new wallet, which is pretty simple, pretty standard in the space, where they were given a seed phrase and everything else like that. And then there was a second workflow where they were basically importing an existing wallet. Again, nothing too crazy. I'll go ahead and just add some B-roll footage here for you guys to get a better understanding of what was going on. But after that, they talked about the actual workings and features of the actual wallet. So we got to see the ability of sending crypto, how to receive crypto, how to view different transactions, and how to manage different networks that the MELD blockchain will be, or the MELD protocol will be interacting with. So again, that includes Cardano, I believe Ethereum as well, Avalanche, and Polygon, as well as the own MELD L1. Another cool thing that we did see here was the KYC process. So Mahul Odedra, who's going to be their product manager, emphasized that this team has been working to simplify the KYC process, which, as you guys may or may not know, stands for Know Your Customer. And so typically when there is some sort of fiat on-ramping or off-ramping through a bank, they have to know who their customers are. So for example, with Coinbase, you have to actually go ahead and send over, I believe, a picture of your driver's license or potentially your passport. And this is pretty standard, not only on Coinbase, but also on platforms, for example, like Binance. Now, MELD is taking their own twist to this. If you guys know anything about MELD, their attention to detail is second to none. And they've really worked to make this as simple and as seamless as possible when it comes to KYC. So I'll be again sharing some footage of that here as a part of today's video. But I do want to give you guys a heads up that the actual application will be available on October 13th or this Friday. And I'll be releasing a video surrounding that as soon as possible. So stay tuned. The application will be available to the first cohort. And then after the initial rounds of feedback and just updates have been made, they'll be rolling the platform out to more and more users. So after the process workflows, we got to hear directly from Mehul Odedra, again, who's going to be their product manager. And his portion of the video was basically focusing on the testing that they're looking to get, or the feedback they're looking to get from the community, as well as just an emphasis on the simplistic approach and the user interface that they're aiming to provide when it comes to the MELD protocol. After him and last, we did hear from Yusuf Sarandi, who's going to be their special projects director. And again, he was just asking us or letting us know that as they continue to roll out and continue to build, that they'll be onboarding more and more cohorts. Now, if you guys have any questions surrounding MELD in general, any issues, questions, or just wanting to be a part of the community, you can head over to their official Discord. I'll leave the link to that down below as a part of today's video description, and you guys can get direct access to the team if you need anything surrounding the protocol. Now, after that, they did jump into their Q&A. So the ignition event was done via a live stream, and then immediately following that, they had a Google Meet where the team was able to then answer any questions that the community had. I saw around 8 to 10 different MELD community members there, or MELD team members there. And I want to give a huge shout out to the entire team for being able to answer every single question that was asked during a 1-hour AMA. So as a part of that, I actually asked a couple of questions, which I'll go ahead and just rehash here, and then we're going to end off today's video. So the first question I asked was surrounding whether or not the testing would be done on a testnet or the mainnet, because again, the MELDapp on browser is available on the mainnet, and the team confirmed that all the initial rounds of testing will be done on the Cardano pre-prod testnet, on the Polygon, or on the Matic Mumbai network, as well as the MELD testnet, which I believe is labeled the Kanazawa testnet. Now, after that, I did also ask a question surrounding their rollout with Android, and the team has mentioned that they have not forgotten about this community. They are still working on developing the Android version for the MELDapp, and obviously as that gets closer to release, I'll make sure to provide you guys with as many updates as possible. Following that, I asked about the rollout, and as I mentioned before, this will be available on October 13th or Friday the 13th. Quite a crazy day here if you're within the US, but nonetheless, this will be coming to the first cohort, and they will be rolling this out to additional cohorts as they get more and more information. Now, one key topic that I did notice a lot of questions surrounding was the KYC. So a lot of people were asking about their potential tax numbers, which in different countries is labeled as something different. And these are basically just unique identifiers tying back to a particular person. So for example, within the United States, we have what is called a social security number, which is a unique identifier for everybody within the United States. And that is going to be needed as a part of the KYC process. So the questions were all surrounding, how this particular field was labeled in different countries and how certain countries did not personally have some sort of tax ID or tax number. But again, the MELD team just made it very clear that what they're referring to is just whatever unique identifier a particular country has is what they'll need in order to complete the KYC process. Another really good question that came out surrounding KYC was just going to be surrounding the jurisdiction in which the MELD team will be keeping all the data. And if you guys are not aware, they are going to be based out of Lithuania. And so all of the information will be adhering to Lithuanian data standards. Now, after that, I did ask a quick question about SSI solutions or self-sovereign identity. And the MELD team basically confirmed that they are fully behind what SSI brings and just the features that it brings to crypto. Now, granted, they said it's not right now their main focus because they don't necessarily see any major players or regulators requiring or accepting SSI solutions, but over the course of the next year or two, that they will be working to get the ball rolling when it comes to SSI. In closing, we did again hear from Yusuf, who basically let us know how to begin testing, how to provide feedback. And again, I'm going to be rolling out a video within the next 24 to 48 hours to break all of that down as soon as I get access to the MELD app. That, I believe, will bring me to the end here for today's video update. Again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. I personally enjoyed the MELD Ignition. Again, the team does a really good job of putting together a really good vision, but they also do a really good job of putting together a polished product. And so that was my biggest thing that I noticed during their entire presentation was their attention to detail, their attention to ease of use, and then also just making sure that everybody within the Q&A felt heard, because again, they did take the time to answer everybody's question during that 1 hour call. As always, if you guys found any of this information to be helpful, or if you learned anything along the way, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this surrounding the top builders in the ecosystem, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions about the MELD Ignition live stream, the Q&A session, or just the rollout of the MELD app on mobile, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, I will see you guys in the next video.